What's up everybody, it is Miles, and first off I just want to apologize because I haven't posted a video in a really long time. I've been hella busy with school and work and everything, but I finally got a chance to make a video, so here you go. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about dating. Dating is a really big topic in the trans community because it is honestly one of the scariest things that you will ever have to do as a trans person. Also, really quick before I start, I just want to throw out there that I've been single for almost 2 years, so I'm probably not the best person to take dating advice from, but here you go. First piece of advice, tell them immediately. Don't put it off until the relationship gets serious, because then if they're not okay with it, things are going to go really bad. So some tips on that. I know that coming out is a really scary thing, and I hate doing it, but I always do it as early as possible in a relationship, just so that I don't end up getting my heart broken. So some ways that you could kind of try to bring it up is like just bring up LGBT topics and see how they feel about it, or ask them about how they feel about trans people, and just kind of like test the waters a little bit, see how they feel just about the topic in general, and if they seem pretty okay with it, then you can be like, okay, well then there's something I need to tell you, and then you can talk with them about it. And if they seem like they're not going to be okay with it, then just end the relationship, because there's no point in trying to date somebody who's not going to accept you for who you are. Okay, the next one is to set boundaries. Now this is important in every relationship, even heterosexual relationships or cisgender relationships, but it's especially important if you are dating a trans guy or if you are a trans guy who is dating someone. And this doesn't just mean sexually either, even though that is really important. This means just like, there's certain topics that trans guys don't like to talk about. So a lot of trans guys don't like to talk about their chest, so that's definitely something to avoid. And then I know most of us don't like to talk about what's in our pants, and that's not something you should ask somebody anyways, but try to avoid that conversation. And then as far as sexually, if you are going to be in an intimate relationship with somebody, make sure you set boundaries with what you're both comfortable with. So some trans guys might be comfortable below the belt, others might not be. Some might be comfortable with their chests and others might not be. So it's just something that you need to establish early on in the relationship so that you don't do anything to make each other feel uncomfortable. Okay, next is pronouns. So this one's pretty basic, and this is kind of something I feel that you should do with people anyways, or I know that I do when I make new friends, make sure that I know what pronouns they prefer. So just straight up ask them. I know that I would prefer for somebody to just ask me straight up what pronouns you prefer rather than assume and then me end up having to correct them. So don't be afraid, just ask them, hey, what pronouns would you prefer to use, and they will tell you. The next one is that your partner may need time to process this. So for you, coming out as trans to other people, you have had a lot of time to think about it, you know who you are, there's no question about it. But when you're coming out to your partner, they may feel a little weird about it, so just understand they may need time to process it and think about things. Next, be ready for questions. They are definitely gonna have... That's my cat. I got a cat, by the way. This is Jack. Be ready for questions. Your partner is definitely gonna have some questions. And so you just need to be able to answer the questions for them, but then also if they ask you something that makes you uncomfortable, don't feel obligated to answer. You don't have to, but just know that they are going to want to ask you things about it, so be ready for that. So in everybody's life you will have bad relationships, and this is a lot more common with trans people than it is with cisgender people. So an important thing to do when you're thinking about dating somebody or if you're getting into a relationship with somebody is just to look for signs. So a lot of the people I know from personal experience, a lot of the people that I have dated have done it strictly for the attention, just so that they could go and tell their friends what it was like to be with a trans guy. So some things that you can kind of look for to make sure that you're not getting yourself into a situation like that is if they bring up the transgender topic a lot and are trying to get you to talk about it all the time and just always trying to get information about it like every day, every other conversation. Then that's definitely something that you need to keep an eye on. I mean, they might just be curious, but if it's the only thing they want to talk about, then I would kind of start to have second thoughts. Another thing to pay attention to is if they are outing you to everybody. Now, before I get into that, this is a really important thing to establish. You should never out people unless you know that they're okay with it. I personally am okay with it. If my friends out me to people, that's fine. As long as they do it correctly, because there is a correct way to out people and an incorrect way to out people, and really it should be something that you check with them first, or just be like, hey, this person was curious about you, maybe you should talk to them, but you should really leave it up to them. But if your partner is outing you to people constantly, then they're probably just dating you for attention, and I would suggest ending the relationship. But again, it's really just your call. So if you think that they're just being genuine, then that's fine. But if you are not comfortable with them outing you to people, then you need to talk with them about it. And if they continue to do it, then chances are they don't really want to be with you. So a tip for if you are dating a trans person, when they come out to you, don't treat them differently, because it's just going to make them feel terrible about themselves. And with a lot of trans people, it takes a lot to get our confidence level enough to even consider dating people. So if you start treating them differently because they're trans, it's just going to tear them down. So just don't even think about it. Just treat them how you would treat anybody else. Tip for dating a trans person, make sure that they know that you are there for them and that you're okay with it. Communication is honestly just a really big thing in all relationships, but it is especially important if you are dating a trans person, because a lot of the time they feel really kind of like an outcast because they're the only one that's going through it and the only one who's experiencing it. So just let them know that you're there for them if they want to vent or if they just need to talk. Just let them know that you're okay with that. But like I said, don't bring it up a whole lot, because it's not something that they want to sit there and talk about constantly. So don't bring it up too often, but just make sure that you let them know early on that if they ever do need to talk, that you're there for them. Or if they start to seem kind of off, it might be something with their transition. So just kind of float the idea by and make sure everything's going okay as far as their transition, and it might even be something else. Just let them know that you're there for them so that they know that they have somebody that they can go to if they need someone to talk to. But anyways, that's about all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions or maybe other tips for dating a trans guy, or if you are a trans guy who's in a relationship and you have some tips for other trans guys, post them down below in the comments, or you can private message me and I can do a video later and address some more of those topics. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.